Vox taken away, which means Grace is given over to NRG, and Glaive will be the answer. So already getting straight through these picks right here, and both teams clearly with a plan coming in.
Yeah, I don't like the Glaive into Grace, because Grace counters melee because of her Holy Nova. If Glaive is going to stand around her, he's going to get stunned by her, trying to delete one of the carries. So Glaive is a very interesting pick into that. Sky being banned is very interesting. Sky actually counters Grace really hard, so I don't know why they would ban
I think that's just
Sky,
a respect ban.
Against Lightning T, I
Yeah,
assume.
that's just a pure respect ban.
Yeah, not wanting to go into one of the comfort picks for the side of NRG. We saw that was one of the big picks for the likes of Juan Hernandez as well, I believe, or that might have been. No, yeah, it was one of the top 3.
Yeah, and we have Grumpjaw open here. Grumpjaw is actually still open and available, so I don't know if they're going to ban Grumpjaw or Lyra here from NRG side. They actually go ban Adagio. Again, this is really weird. Like I said, they normally will pick Adagio over Lyra, and now it looks like they're going to ban Adagio over Lyra, and that gives Echo Fox Lyra or potentially Grumpjaw too as well. So this is a very interesting draft already winding up for us.
So a very interesting thing that's just come through communications as well. Supershot is actually going to be playing carry this week. Irwin is unable to play, who is one of our players to watch. It's going to be Yazaru in the jungle and Supershot on carry. So I feel like that changes this matchup quite a lot and puts a lot more focus on Juan Hernandez, because I feel like this is a huge opportunity for him to step up now.
Yeah, absolutely. Not having to go against Irwin, who is a very strong carry. You said he was strong enough that we chose him as the player to watch because he's been doing so well for his team, but this also just puts even more pressure on the rest of Echo Fox to now step up and perform.
Well, Black Feather is going to be a lock-in coming through for NRG here. Which is interesting considering Batiste is still open, that they go for that Black Feather. Seems like that's a comfort pick more than anything else.
Lightning T loves the CP Black Feather here, and I feel like they can round it out with like an Idris, for example, or even Jewel. You know, Juan Hernandez has been known to play that Jewel, so they could round it out with those picks. But I feel like out of those heroes, oh, actually they're going to go with the Kestrel. I think this may be a weapon Kestrel, I assume, with the CP Black Feather.
Yeah, I mean, you got Juan Hernandez, right? He played a lot of weapon Kestrel last week. It's something that's kind of becoming solid meta here in North America, where you take that weapon Kestrel to lane, and the damage late game is terrifying to deal with. So
yeah,
we'll see how he's going to use that one to affect.
However, a good Glaive though, with an Afterburn and then a Vanguard, it just completely can shut down a Kestrel. And we've seen like PT Lamb do that, and a lot of solid Glaives just completely shut down Kestrels.
At the same time though, a really good Kestrel can completely shut down the Glaive, who tries to get in with the Afterburn if you can get the active camo stun off. So it's much easier for the Glaive to get the shutdown in that situation,
yeah,
but
it's
there
super
is
hard to predict an Afterburn.
But if there is the possibility for it, though.
I feel like every single time we talk about Kestrel counters of things, we go, however, Kestrel super high skill cap, and you can just outplay anyone. That feels like a running theme right now.
It's also just if the Glaive goes after Black Feather, then it becomes actually fairly easy for Kestrel to set that up. And Batiste has the last pick.
Yeah, Batiste going to round out this composition for Echo Fox. These are interesting compositions, it has to be said, but I feel like NRG's is closer to the meta, but they're all kind of meta picks though. Nothing too crazy really on the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, I'm mostly curious about the Batiste pick because Kestrel is so good into Batiste. So it shows me that they're going to be trying their best to just focus everything on the Kestrel, use that Afterburn, knock Kestrel into range of Batiste, and let Batiste then blow her up. But then they're going to have to worry about this Black Feather trying to dance around the edges of this fight. And, you know, again, assuming it is going to be a weapon Black Feather or a crystal Black Feather is kind of up in the air. They can really go with either option, and I think both would be very effective.
I just want to remind everyone at home as well, it is going to be Yazuro in the jungle and Supershot as carry. Irwin will not be playing in this game for the likes of Echo Fox. So looking at the compositions, what are the win conditions going to be going into this game? How do these guys have to play it out?
Yeah, I think Echo Fox can pull it off with the Batiste Fear, because we've seen a lot of top VG8 captains not be able to block that Fear. And along with the Glaive Afterburn and Ordain, that's a lot of CC coming out from NRG side. And if they don't get on Kestrel, they're going to lose, like Bacon said. But I feel like NRG is a stronger team right now than Echo Fox based on synergy alone. So I'm going to give this game to NRG.
I like the draft that Echo Fox has, as long as they use their CC to
I'm going to have to cut you off there. We're running out of time on this one. We've got to get to the game. Sorry, guys. But don't forget to get involved on social media. Hashtag Vainglory is how you can let us know who you are supporting. This is a hype matchup. NRG versus Echo Fox. Let's head on to the Halcyon Fold and jump on into this game.
And this is going to be a very exciting series, I feel, like Scoundrel. NRG, Echo Fox, possibly the two most evenly matched teams here in North America. It's just a shame that we're not seeing Erwin on the starting roster for Echo Fox because they are struggling to have a full-strength roster at the moment.
This bait, it feels like it's a massive bait for the Grace invade. NRG has fallen for it.
Oh, they have. That's going to be the afterburn into the wall, but Bradley, he's on Grace, and he pops the boots, and he gets out.
So
Highest base movement in the game. Grace is so obnoxious to chase.
That is so troll, and I love how long Bradley held on to those boots, and he gets the forward camps. And that is rubbing salt in the wounds, because that was a big setup that lost a little bit of time in lane for Echo Fox. Yuzura isn't going to get level 2 from this rotation, or shouldn't do, so they're going to be a bit behind at their level 2 siege, or even the level 2 fight. So this is going to be big. Lightning, big
NRG
steal.
just walks straight in, steal that Treant away. Yazuru's in trouble as Lightning T goes in, looking for first blood. On point connects. Yazuru struggling to escape, pops his potion, but Lightning T says no. It will be our first blood, and Energy just trump all over Echo Fox's plans.
Man, that was big setup. Big setup from Echo Fox. They wanted to try and trap the Grace from such a predictable move. We saw Gabe kind of pioneer that big move into the jungle last week. It was a massive move that Graces have been making, and it was a big setup to try and counter that, but Bradley held those boots for just the right moment and punished for them for it as well. Something that is so important in Vainglory right now, and a lot of people sort of in the pro scene are doing this. You let your jungler get level 2 on first rotation because it is a big power spike for most junglers. By doing this move and the setup, Echo Fox deny level 2 from Yuzura, and then the level 2 NRG, Blackfeather walks in and just takes the duel because he knows that he can, because the level 2 is such a big advantage for him.
Insane stuff. Not only that, this lane has just been set up for, you know, failure for Echo Fox. Supershot struggling to last hit these creeps. He's missing, you know, a couple of last hits here and there. The turret just being pushed on in.
Equal, Dalsy.
Well, he has been missing them. It means that Juan is also missing a couple as well. We're going to see another invade coming in.
I love you, Dalsy.
You love me? Oh, that's cute. I love you too, Xandro.
I think what's really interesting between these two compositions, I was only joking, by the way. I think it's not about the loving thing. I think what's interesting about these two compositions is that NRG do want to keep their range for the most part. This is CP Blackfeather and Weapon Power Kestrel. Likely going to be a Weapon Power Kestrel. I'll talk about it in a second, a big fight.
Yeah, Lightning T doesn't want to keep his range. He wants to kill Yuzura again, and he will find the kill. Slater going to struggle to escape. On point, pierces on through, and that's one more auto attack for the double kill to Lightning T. Does go down, a bit of a kappa there, but Juan does make sure that Supershot can't rotate to punish Bradley, who's stealing more of these back camps.
Yeah, and he will get those back doubles away. Azura might know that Bradley is there. He does use the bad mojo across the wall.
Ooh, can he chase this Grace? I think the golden rule of Vainglory right now is never chase a Grace, and I don't
think it's never chase a Grace. I think it's more that you can't chase a Grace because she's just going to be quicker than you. It's going to be like Roadrunner and Coyote, Roadrunner and Coyote, where you are consistently the Coyote and you're just never going to catch up. I think what's also interesting is that, I was going to say, as this game progresses, NRG, even though they are absolutely destroying Echo Fox up close right now, as this game progresses, NRG will want to keep their range. Believe it or not, Dalsy, they will want to try and keep their range because they're going to have a CP Blackfeather who will stack those broken mist stacks off the back of his on points, and obviously this is likely going to be a...
Ooh,
I'm just holding on for a minute.
Yeah, okay.
It's likely going to be a Glimmer Shot build from the Kestrel, so they're going to want to try and use this maximum poke. But there's a big engage from the Gauntlet and a big engage from Supershot's Glaive with his Afterburn. So they'll be looking to hard engage onto those fairly squishy targets. CP Blackfeather does not last long if he gets locked down. Neither does a Kestrel.
Wow.
So.
There's a fountain advantage right now for Echo Fox. I wonder if NRG are taking that into consideration. It doesn't seem like they care. They're diving straight on forward. They just feel so comfortable with their poke ability with the Glimmer Shots and the on points that if they want to engage, Bradley's going to be there to facilitate for that for them.
Juan Hernandez has also shown that he is an incredibly good Kestrel player. I think every time that I might have cast Juan Hernandez, he's pretty much been on Kestrel 90% of the time. So he has shown that he is incredibly adept with Kestrel, so we expect him to pop off this game. I think he's going to be, really hitting hard. Big item spikes starting to open up. When Yuzuru gets his Shatterglass and Supershot maybe picks up whatever item he seems to be going for, it might be a Sorrow Blade here. I don't know. I would expect maybe some sort of attack speed off the back of this, like a Poison Shiv, but because you're going into a Grace. But he has picked up the Heavy Steel, so that could either go towards a Breaking Point, a Serpent's Mask, or a Sorrow Blade. Interesting to see if he goes for a Serpent's Mask. I just think he'll lack the damage. Sorrow Blade will be an indicator that they have one goal in mind, which is bursting a singular target. And Breaking Points means that he's probably given up and is trying to play the long game, which is not going to work, I don't think.
Oh, well, he has to disengage there. It's never good when you're forced to use your Afterburn on a weapon power glaive defensively. Always want to be making those offensive moves. Yuzuru here going to be aggressed upon. Is able to secure his camp though. And now that we've hit this 4-minute mark, Lightning T is going to stay at range, not just charge at the Baptiste. Juan here doing a good chunk of damage. Here comes Lightning T. The one shot will connect with the turret. So maybe not a hero, but ultimately working towards the objective for NRG.
The ultimate goal of getting that first tier turret, which is gonna, as soon as Lightning T gets level 8, very hard for Fox to defend that. So they are starting to shove on. It might even be hard for them to defend it now, but the problem with Black Feather pre-level 8 is you have to get into range of the turret to use your on point, which means you are going to start generating turret aggro on either yourself or your teammates, which is why it's a little bit harder to siege turrets pre-level 8 with CP Black Feather. But he will hit level 8 pretty soon, so he's got about a third of the way through level 7 right now. Looks like they've forced Supershot back, and this might just be Fox.
Yeah, and this is going to be Slater actually, perhaps losing his life. Has to pull the Gauntlet, has to pull the Fountain. He's going to go both, but can he survive is the question. Supershot able to knock one into the Gauntlet. That is huge! Baptiste looking to blow them up, but Lightning T's looking for a double. He's going to go all the way. Can he get a triple? Gets the shield. Supershot's too slow to chase, and he can come back and just poke him for more. Actually misses the on point. Not a great start to that. There's the Afterburn. Lightning T, though, he's juked him, and Supershot doesn't know it. One shot comes out, Supershot's like wondering where exactly Lightning T's standing, and he just gets one on-pointed, slowed down, Bradley doing the work, and Lightning T will come in to finish the kill. Bradley loses his life, but man, it feels bad when you juke yourself.
At least he got a kill out of that, Dalsy. There, at least he picked up a kill. It could have been a lot worse, but I felt like that was the sort of I've screwed up here. Now I'm just going to pretend to walk out like nothing ever happened. A little bit like
this was my entire plan.
A little bit like Polly did last week, by the way. Polly kind of just swagged Afterburned into the middle of the Kraken and was like, I'm supposed to be here. It was a little bit like that for Supershot right there. He was like, no, I didn't make a mistake. This is exactly what I wanted to do.
Oh, this is starting to look a little bit scary for Echo Fox as Juan starts stacking up damage with these glimmer shots. Got himself a Sorrow Blade, working towards a Monaco as his next item. Just going to do so much damage with his crit early on. Echo Fox, they're going to have to really be hitting these gauntlets, trapping Juan down, and making sure they blow him up with the Baptiste as well as the glaive. NRG start up the gold mine and they move back. That's a tension bow completed. Juan's going to hit like a truck, and Supershot's already tagged right down. Good use of the Ordained does slow down any engage from NRG. The one shot will connect with Yuzuru. That's a lot of damage, and on point as well, just to show him that he loves him. NRG can go back towards this gold miner, I think.
I don't know. I'm not sure how many times that I felt loved by getting hit by a Shatterglass almost broken myth on point here. Looks like Super Fox are trying to go for the steal, but I think that's
Beta? He's just gonna suicide for it? No, he decides he's not going to suicide for it. Okay. Echo Fox clearly had something in mind there at Scoundrel, where they were going to, blood for blood, Afterburn at the same time, and
yeah,
it just
trying to go for a burst steal, especially with the tension bow hit from Glaive. I think they were just trying to go for a big burst steal, but you are going up against a tension bow and a on point on the big hitting on point right now for Lightning T. So I mean, I would be surprised if they could outburst the combined force of a tension bow, glimmer shot, and the on point from Lightning T. So big item spikes and big level spikes being hit, by the way, Dalsy. This is going to be what it looks like a Glimmer Shot focus build from Juan Hernandez. He's working towards what could be a Tornado Trigger, which means he's a little bit more reliant on than the double Tyrant's Monocle build on his basic attacks. And Lightning T obviously has finished his Shatterglass and his Broken Myth. He's also level 9, so it's at that crucial point where on-point range has been extended, so it starts to hit from very far away.
Oop, Lightning T dancing around in an Ordain. Look at the damage coming out from the on-points Glimmer shots. Lightning T, though, jumps a little bit too far. And that's going to be him dead. One looking to clean up the fight, looking for the auto attacks. Yuzuru taking a lot of damage, but an Ordain will keep him in place. And in place, he will stand as he snipes away. One shot's available, but it won't find a target. Good guess, but not good enough. A little bit odd that he would go for that spot, considering they had a scout. Oh, it's red. Never mind. But I'm colorblind, scoundrel, and I also love you.
Thanks, bud. I think you're starting to see now how powerful this NRG composition is when it gets towards the later and mid stages of the game. This point for CP Blackfeather, this is where he's at his strongest. You know, he's got the ability to stack from range. It's very hard to respond to a CP Blackfeather at this point, and he just stacks those Broken Myth stacks using his on point, and then goes in looking for the executing kills with his A and his C. At this point, Juan Hernandez now got a bit of critical strike. He's overdriven Glimmer Shot so they could benefit from critical strikes. So he's hitting like a truck with that tension bow too. And this is another one of those situations where you either get Batiste to late game and you're just like, okay, Batiste, try and win the day with your ultimate, and then obviously stack with your bad mojo, and maybe you can just outright burst them from range and then we don't have to worry. Or you're kind of out of luck for Echo Fox, in my opinion.
Certainly feeling a little bit like that. Yuzuru does have his clockwork, so can certainly spam abilities. Currently NRG setting up to take this Crystal Sentry. This is a bait. They don't have vision of Fox, but where is Super Shot? It's 2 men going in. That's a Crystal Sentry going down. Super Shot's coming around from the back end. One, very low, very vulnerable, but he gets knocked away from his team, from Echo Fox, and that's going to be Slater having to force a Crucible to stay alive. Echo Fox want the re-engage, but so do NRG, and the one shot going to make things difficult for Yuzuru as he takes so much damage from these on points. Goes down to the Black Feather. Super Shot the next man, and one has the card in his book, and that's just going to be a lovely snipe to finish the job. But ace for NRG. If only Super Shot had knocked one into his team rather than away.
Yeah, I actually would have turned around and said, okay, he probably just missed Juan Hernandez. He should have knocked Lightning T into the team. Because he had the opportunity to, I think. He could have knocked Lightning T directly into the team. He's still a CP Blackfeather who is sitting on very little defense right now. He's still quite easily blown up if you get the opportunity. Even so, you might have forced him to use a defensive C. It was a lot better than knocking Juan Hernandez away, that's for sure. So I think I would have been, if I was in that situation for Super Shot, okay, I missed Juan Hernandez. Now I knock Lightning T in and see if we can get anything done with that. That would have been my first impression about the way that the fight should have been played out, because it was a perfect flank position. If anything, I think Super Shot waited a little bit too long to pull the trigger with the afterburn, because as soon as he saw Juan Hernandez out of position, could have jumped in, tried to get the burst with that tension bow and the Sorrow Blade, and said, okay, do you have an answer to it? But, you know, because if he'd knocked Juan Hernandez even into the wall, Dowsey, you saw how low Juan Hernandez was. He was probably one basic attack from going down.
Yeah, no, I agree. These fights have been close. It doesn't feel like it, but NRG have been going right down to the wire as far as health is concerned. They can be punished, and it's going to be a great afterburn. Juan's trapped, gets out, but can he survive? The heal comes through. Holy moly, Lightning T doing the work! Gets the kill onto Juan, and the one shot onto Slater does connect. Lightning T should be able to finish the work job. He has a fully stacked Broken Myth, and Slater is none the wiser. And the ace comes out from NRG. A good start to the fight for Echo Fox, but they just feel too far behind.
I think you're right. That was the perfect situation. Echo Fox actually executed that fight incredibly well. Really, really well on the execution on that fight there for Echo Fox. But they were just too far behind in item spikes. They just didn't have the damage necessary to finish off Juan Menendez. If they'd finished him off, they might have been able to turn on to Lightning T, but it took too long. And Lightning T was able to get so many Broken Myth stacks, as you alluded to during the action. The Broken Myth stacks that he was able to pick up allowed him to completely destroy Batiste and Super Shot, who, by the way, Super Shot, no shielding, goes down in an instant. And right. I think Yuzuru is now working towards Aegis, but even now, then, against 9 Broken Myth stacks, tier 2 shielding still feels like you've got nothing.
I love this item. We'll talk about it in a sec as Juan just comes in and just starts deleting the Batiste. Super Shot just cannot escape and he will go down. And it's going to be this Arden running for his life. Should be easy pickings for the roster of NRG. They could look to even finish the game if once they get this kill. And that's certainly where they're going to look towards. Slumbering Husk on Lightning T against Batiste is so strong. I've been testing this in my games personally at Scoundrel. And it allows you to face tank the initial damage that comes out from the Batiste. Lightning T has been so confident on his Black Feather and just consistently going forward.
Absolutely. They are looking to finish. I don't know if they're going to be able to finish just yet. Then I'm going to have to back off. Box were up in time. And Crystal Sentry respawning did make it a 4 versus 5 that NRG were not prepared to take. Do you know what I also like? The
4 versus 5.
Sorry, 3 versus 4. And do you know what I also like? On the Lightning T and Bradley, the Atlas Pauldrons. Now, you might look at the Atlas Pauldrons and say, why? There's not really any attack speed. You know what it's really good at doing? If Yuzura is in the midst of a fight, which he happens to be for the majority of these fights, he's not allowed to stack those soul stacks up, and he's not allowed to get the big hitting bad mojo, because he obviously gets a stack every time he lands a basic attack. So the slower his basic attacks, the slower that he lands those stacks. Big fight.
Big fight. 1 dead, 2 dead, and now it's going to be a 3rd. Good fear. He might actually be able to turn this if he can dodge out some on points. It doesn't seem likely. The heal comes out as well from Bradley, and that's going to be Yazaru taken down to the barbershop and given a snip by the on point. Lightning T kills the Crystal Sentry, 1 turret remaining, and it's at half HP. And I think that's a pretty understated statement there, Scoundrel. If you slow down the auto attacks on the Batiste, then less time for him to spam those empowered bad mojos.
Exactly, and obviously we know that bad mojos can stack those soul stacks, but obviously it's very important also if you're in the midst of a fight using your basic attacks, and Atlas Pauldron kind of shuts that down.
Another fight
out again.
Yeah, this one's over the Vein Crystal. Slightly important, and Echo Fox is seemingly winning it as Lightning T stuck in the midst of it all, doing a lot of damage, dancing around them. One shot comes through, but it doesn't quite connect. He will find the kill. This is insane damage coming out of Lightning T as he just walks around, but eventually dies. And it's going to be Bradley walking, I think, the team out, as perhaps one walks into the base and looks to finish the game. Here he comes, Glimmer Shots raining down like hellfire, and Juan will be forced to walk away, it seems. Can't quite go up to the Vein Crystal. A Batiste and Glaive pretty good at defending that.
Also, Juan's gone for the Tornado Trigger Tyrant's Monocle build instead of the double Tyrant's Monocle. It brings a little bit of the damage down on Glimmer Shot, but it makes it a higher critical strike chance, and also means you can actually function outside of your Glimmer Shots as well if you absolutely have to, because you have the attack speed necessary to make you a little bit harder hitting on your basic attacks, so you increase your DPS overall when you're trying to use your basic attacks. This is a slight variation on the other Kestrel build where you build double Tyrant's Monocle instead, and you are pretty much 100% reliant on landing your Glimmer Shots. This means Juan Hernandez has 2 options when it comes to fighting in team fights, and I really like that because it gives him versatility, especially when you're going up against a dive composition. It means that sometimes when you're going up against a Glaive, you don't want to be stuck in the middle of a Glimmer Shot animation. You don't want to be stuck taking hits from a Glaive while you're casting Glimmer Shot. You want to be able to kite backwards and use those basic attacks, and that's what Juan Hernandez has been able to achieve. Big Holy Nova.
That's huge, and that's going to be Lightning T trying to come forward. Good fear. They've stunned Juan. There's a heal coming out, and look at the Divine Intervention. It might just be enough to keep Juan alive in this fight. Gets 1 kill, looking for a second onto Yazaru. It's going to be the kill going over, and the ace going to come through from NRG. Huge plays coming out of the side of NRG. Bradley, pretty undervalued, I think, in this game. We've been talking a lot about Juan and Lightning T, but his Grace is pretty OP.
Yeah, Bradley's hit some big Holy Novas this game, and again, it's something that we kind of touched on it and winning fights were being engaging because of how good they were, but I think we understated how much of an impact Bradley had this game. Again, bring this back to level 1. You know, you lose that level 1 fight because you had to share experience. You didn't get, Grace obviously pulled that strategy from Fox